We've been talking a lot about AI-assisted humans and how AI-enabled humans are going to be able to perform and how that hurts or helps creativity. I remember what the old argument was when the calculators came out, that kids don't know how to add and subtract anymore because they do everything on calculators. When smartphones came out, I used to remember 20, 30, 40 telephone numbers. The other day, my iPhone ran out of battery and I couldn't remember my girlfriend's number. And that's crazy. I'm going to use an analogy with another type of product that's automated or helped automate my world. You know, we're going to talk a lot about AI and robots, but in most cases, it's actually just simple automations. You don't even get to that sentient level of, you're going to have a conversation about what to cook today. Like, no, hey, search for this recipe, bam. There's an appliance for the kitchen called the Thermomix. So the Thermomix has multiple functions. It's connected to the internet, so it gets loaded up with thousands of recipes paired with your phone, an app that you have. So you decide what to cook. You can pick different recipes for the week, basically consolidate your shopping list once you decide what things that you want to cook. But its most important feature is really the control process of the cooking itself. So it's taken hundreds or even thousands of recipes. They've tested them, they've translated them to this machine. And so on the machine, it has a screen and it gives you step by step. You click, it has a scale. So you throw in parsley, it tells you 20 grams, 30 grams, fry it at 100 degrees for 3 minutes. And so you turn the knob and boom, it's there. And it counts down, and when it finishes, it stops. And you go to the next step and the next step. And it sequences the step in a way to maximize the flavor, minimize the work, minimize how many things you have dirty outside. Some of the times you have to take out things and reserve them, but most of the time they try for you to just have one constant flow, right? So here you are cooking away. After the refrigerator, it's probably like the second most expensive appliance. When the salesperson was doing the sales pitch, there were other people there with me, and some people decided not to buy it because they said, oh, I'm already a great cook. You know, I don't need this. And I was like, okay, fine. I already knew how to cook, and I cooked well. But with this thing, I've become a terror in the kitchen. I cook so many new categories now. Before I did risottos, but now I do like 10 types of risotto. Before I used to do salads, but now I can do the dressing and different types of custom dressings for every salad. Before I used to do hamburgers and grill them and do your normal weekend grill. But now I can do custom ketchup and custom barbecue sauce and custom mayo and custom mustard, and sort of like a return to the basics, you know, when you're doing your own secondary products. Now I do bread. But not only do I do the bread, but I can take the grains and make them powder. So I know what I'm putting in. I now can get into the ingredients, but the real ingredients. Every time I do pancakes at home with my kid, you know, we try to do them once a week. It's a tradition that my grandmother had with me. And I never liked using the prepackaged flour because I don't know what type of things it had. I never used to think about that, by the way. Now that I have a 3-year-old baby, you definitely think about these things and you wonder what's in it. And to be able to control that variable, just sugar, something as simple as sugar. There's ketchup. I don't know how much sugar they put in that. You know, now I can do my own ice cream. I can do my own condiments. I know how much sugar. Now I can control it, and I can pick if I want to use stevia or Splenda or whatever. You know, that level of control, and to play with textures, because this thing controls the process to a degree that it turns any house kitchen into a semi-industrial kitchen. In fact, friends of mine are running a jam business. They can control the quality level and always have the same quality in their production batches. So I think that's what's going to happen to the home. I think this is an example of the future. This is an example of where we're going. People are going to be able to get down to the nitty-gritty molecular level and be able to play around the way that probably before you could only do at a lab or at a factory or at a specialized outfit. And they want to do that now with everything. And we're just getting it started. I think what's important is to figure out the trend. The Thermomix example is a good one because it really highlights the change of behavior that's going to happen in the house and the desire for more control and more thoughtfulness around the things that we consume. You know, it's better together. Humans plus AI, it's better than humans by themselves. So let's take some examples outside the kitchen, outside the home. Let's go to work, for example. The other day, I showed my students, there was a site called My Brand New Logo. It was basically using artificial intelligence to be able to create 30, 40 logos at a time. So you would give a certain number of inputs, your brand, certain couple of keywords, and a couple of colors, and all of a sudden, bam, no? It would hit you with all these different types of logos. And then once you pick one, it would allow you to customize all the different features. And I remember I showed it to a graphic designer, a young cousin of mine, and she recently graduated as a graphic designer, and she was very concerned. She was alarmed. She was like, oh my God, I can't compete with that. I think that's the wrong mentality because it's the opposite. I told her, I don't think that's the right way to think about it. How many of your logos are of this quality? She's like, well, like 60% of my logos are of this quality. 40% are higher end logos. It's much more sophisticated Photoshop, Illustrator type stuff, much more complexity than this AI system can handle. And I was like, okay, and how long does it take you? Well, to create these simple logos, it probably takes me 1 hour. And I said, well, now with this tool, it could take you 5-10 minutes. And she was like, oh. So I said, yeah, you end up using this tool as a way to create visually 30-40 ideas at a time. And you make a change and you run it again, and you make a change and you run it again, and you make a change and you run it again. And that's the beauty of an AI-enabled life, especially on the creative side, to be able to run it again and again and again, and to be able to come up with different simulations. And you run it and you see the output and you change the variables, and you run it and you see the output and you change the variables, and that's the value. That's where I think it all of a sudden becomes unlimited creativity. There's another site that does self-help videos. There's a bunch of them, but the leaders are Powtoon and Beyond. And what's amazing is that you can pick from a library, you can create characters, and it allows you to run it. No, you know what? Change it. Let's run it differently. These that I mentioned, Powtoon and Beyond, they're just basic automation of the process. There's some new websites like Raw Shorts that actually use artificial intelligence. You just feed the script and it gives you a proposal. It literally gives you a proposal of the video. So it creates like an initial, like, here's the draft, here's my suggestion, and it picks video scenes so that you can actually build from there. I think that's going to become more and more prevalent. You're going to go into these authoring sites and you're going to click a few things. There's also promo.com. I think that's a good example. You pick templates, you adjust, and that, taken to an industrial level now on any given topic, I think video production, promo production, it's going to explode. Logo production, graphic design, all those things are going to be enhanced tremendously because now there's going to be authoring systems that are going to allow pretty much anybody to do it. That doesn't mean that the people that specialize in those areas are going to be out of work. I think that the people that specialize in those areas are going to be able to utilize those tools to do their work better, faster, cheaper, and sell more.